buddy from Brooklyn there. He and I went over together and took the entrance exam and all that sort of thing.
Okay, we're ready. This is a home interview, Schenectady, New York. It is the 10th of August, 2005, approximately 1:30 p.m. Interviewers are Wayne Clark and Mike Russert. Could you give me your full name, your date of birth, and place of birth, please?
Robert C.Taylor, born May 21, 1922 in Brooklyn, New York, Kings County.
What was your educational background prior to entering service?
Oh, I'd gone through prep school in Brooklyn and had started in the Stevens Institute of Technology in Hoboken, and I had to take off from there to go in the Air Force, and then I came back and went back to school and finally graduated and got a job with the General Electric Company, and that was February of '49, and I retired from Capel Knowles Atomic Power Laboratory in Schenectady on June 30th, 1986.
Okay. Do you remember where you were and how you heard and your reaction when you heard about Pearl Harbor?
Oh yeah, I remember the fellow I just mentioned to you that we went over together to take the exams for the Air Force. We just come out of what we used to call in those days a candy store. We got Coke and bolts and whatnot. We got into his car and just started down 3rd Avenue in Brooklyn, and it was a Sunday afternoon, and we got the word on the radio. It was funny, my father, when I got home, my father, who had retired from the military and all that sort of thing, he just had about had his trunk packed by the front door, ready to go out. He was disappointed he was never called.
Do you remember your reaction when you heard about this? Your own personal reaction, how you felt?
Oh, oh boy, here we go. I knew enough about war from my father's experience, and as a civilian kid, which is really what I was.
Were you drafted or did you enlist?
I enlisted.
Why did you select did you wanted to go in the Army Air Force?
Oh yeah, I always wanted to fly.
Had you ever flown previous to that point?
No. I mean, I got a couple of short rides, but that was about it.
When did you enlist?
Gosh, that's some reason or other I have trouble remembering that.
Well, you wrote on here around November of '42. So.
I would say that's probably it. Because I had a fair wait after I was signed aboard, so to speak, before I got called to duty.
Okay, where did you go for your basic training?
Well, started off in Nashville, Aviation Cadet Center in Nashville, Tennessee, and then went to SAC in San Antonio. That was kind of the basic training area. You got code, math, and navigating, and all that sort of stuff.
So you were trained as a navigator?
Finally, I washed out of the pilot program. So, I had a pretty technical background going to Stevens Tech, and so when I qualified, we were classified in Nashville. I was classified for pilot, navigator, and bombardier. So I was given a choice when I washed out. So I said, I'll take navigator. And went.
Why did you select that?
Oh, it was more, had more interest in what was involved. the complexity and the science in navigation, aerial navigation, appealed to me more than just looking through a bomb sight and watching the ground go by.
Where did you do your training? Was in San Antonio?
No, that was just the warm up, the basic training, and then I had to go to, went to primary pilot training and washed out of there. And then went to Harlingen, Texas, which was gunnery school. And so we were checked out on turrets and handheld guns and all that sort of thing. Then I went to Hondo, Texas, which is the navigation school.
How long was that school?
That was 3 months, I believe.
Okay. And once you completed that school, you were commissioned as an officer?
Commissioned as a second lieutenant, and was assigned to Kearney, Nebraska. And then they, and this, I sent to Pyote, Texas, which was what we used to call transition school. And I was assigned to a crew there, and we went through some training there. And then we went, the whole gang of us went to Kearney. And I remember when we shipped out, everybody, looking out that we were in boxcars, would you believe, with bunks in them. And they rode like boxcars. And we were all looking out the boxcar door to see which way the train turned. Whether we went to east or west. If we went to west, it was Japan. If we went east, it was Europe. And we were all glad to see it turned east. Finally wound up in Kearney, Nebraska. And then towards the end of May, we disembarked from Staten Island for England.
You went by ship?
Went by ship, yeah.
Okay.
It was a big liner that I guess it, almost been launched and went immediately into the service as a troop carrier. It was, started as a cruise ship.
Was your entire crew on the same ship?
Yeah, a whole bunch of us, the 10 of us, went together, and we were taken to Bovington in England. That's where we got some further training on protocols, flying protocols in England and 8th Air Force and so on and so forth. And then we were shipped off to the 96th Bomb Group, the 3rd Bomb Division, at Snetterton Heath. That was the name of the area. And then it was just a couple of days, 1 or 2 days after D-Day, we got our first mission.
Now this was on a B-17.
This was a B-17.
Did you have the same plane all the time, or?
Yeah, we had a plane assigned to us occasionally for one reason or another. They gave us another plane, maintenance or something.
You said you named your plane?
Yep, Oh Hard Luck.
Who named it that?
I guess the pilot did. He had an expression when somebody started to gripe about something, the food or the weather or being in England or whatnot. He'd look at me and say, "Oh, hard luck."
Now, did you do any decoration on it, or just the name?
Yeah, we had a picture of a cat holding a bomb, and red letters, "Oh, hard luck."
Did you ever decorate your jackets at all?
Yeah, I used to have a jacket with a whole smear on the back of the jacket, but unfortunately I abused the jacket and I should have put it in storage or something when I got back, but I didn't. I wore it, and I ultimately wore it out. But I think it's around here someplace.
Oh,
My number 3 daughter, Joanne, she wants it. She wants to inherit it.
Now, what was your first mission? Where did you go on your first mission?
Oh, it was not far from the beachhead, you know, back into Germany.
Okay, so it was basically a support mission?
Yeah,
then?
yeah.
Mhm.
Supporting the troops who just landed. And then this is at this point, all 10 of us decided we were in a dangerous business because that's the first flak we saw, you know.
Mhm.
It was fairly low altitude. It wasn't our usual 25 plus thousand feet. It was about 8,000, I remember. They had a lot of AV-8s and 88s.
There it is. I guess we could hold that up now
Yeah,
that it's
sure.
here.
oh, that looks like it's in great
It's in
shape.
good shape to me. Our daughter Joanne stole it.
You're going to have to back up a little with it.
Okay.
We got making a good place to fall over or something.
Let me get it out of the way here. Now this is the same decoration that was on the nose then
That was
too.
right up on the nose.
That's the original. Our daughter Joanne stole that. Took it to Texas for a couple of years when we missed it. And she was going to the University of Texas. We made her bring it back. I hid it from her. She wants it.
All right, and can you turn it around and look at the front of it?
Now what is this patch?
No, that's that's from the 653rd Bomb Squadron with the 25th Bomb Group. Now that was the Mosquito outfit. That's our squadron insignia.
Okay. That's great.
Thank you.
He probably forgot I even had. You know, I still have that.
Well, I've been wondering, you know,
Joanne.
whether it was here or up at Joanne's
I
house.
took it away from Joanne.
How many missions did you fly?
Well, 35 on the B-17s and 16 on the Mosquitoes.
What were most of your missions? What were your targets primarily?
Well, primarily it was with the B-17s. It was Germany's industrial complexes, you know.
Like Schweinfurt.
Yeah, factories, oil refineries, that sort of stuff. And
Were there any missions that stood out in your mind more than others?
Yeah, the 5th one, we got the hell shot out of us. That day we were flying 6 ship elements.
Now, what do you mean by that?
Well, an element is normally 3 airplanes, you know, an echelon.
Right.
And this is 2 together, one above the other. And, you know, it stacks up that way. There may be as many as a dozen elements all stacked up. We got up near Mercerburg, M-E-R-S-E-B-U-R-G, I guess. And on the first pass, the Luftwaffe came through a whole herd of 190s and 109s, and they took out 5 of the 6 ships in one pass. Zip, they were gone, so the 5 B-17s. We were the only ones left. That's where the Dick Rutherford, the youngest man on the crew and the radio operator, he got hit by a 20 millimeter cannon from one of the fighters, and that killed him. And, the rest, some of the fellas picked up a little small flak shell, you know, stuff about half as big as your little fingernail. But it peppers you, you know. Kind of uncomfortable. I was untouched.
What kind of damage was there to your plane?
No, it was all torn up. The pot, the induction system on the engines, the controls on that was gone. You had a choice, wide open or shut off.
Did you think you were going to have to bail out?
No, but pilot was going to go down and hit the deck, and everybody talked him out of it. We figured we better stick with the bomber formation. There was more protection there, see. We'd been on our own if we hit the deck, and of course we would have been dead meat. But I remember whoever was leading the group, boy, he was after us, you know. Our radios did not broadcast. We could receive all sorts of messages, and he was hollering at us, cussing, swearing at us, get back into formation. That's an order, you know, and so on and so forth. And like I said, we had, you know, full speed ahead or nothing, so it was, and we'd fall back and catch up, you know. Boy, he jumped us when we came down. We told him what I had told you, you know, about the lack of control. He felt real bad about that, you know, that he'd harassed us. So there's that picture there. There's 20 millimeter flak holes in the wings, and the picture of the crew. There, the fellow on the left is, that's Paul Frost, Bombardier, then there's me, and Ed Wiseman, co-pilot, and Ray Stanton, he was the pilot.
Are any of these fellows still alive?
As far as I know, they're still alive. I haven't received any notice otherwise. And in the bottom picture there's a 20 millimeter cannon shell hole in the wing, and that's the tail gunner, Dick Martinez from Buffalo, taking a look at it.
Okay.
And the plane was full of, you know, that sort of
Black holes.
stuff.
This is better. I didn't know I had that.
And if you look closely,
I got a better picture, Bob.
got this here's a little better picture. Here's the crew again looking at
Okay.
it.
Same photographs, just
Yeah,
the
same
actual
photograph.
ones.
Now if you'd notice the side, especially the Q, there's got a lot of white dots in it. Well, those are shell fragment holes.
Oh yeah.
Those small little pieces.
Yeah.
It peppered the thing, and remember it peppered our upper turret gunner, flight engineer, peppered his legs. How he managed to survive it, I don't know. Because he was, he had the top turret. That thing was all torn to pieces from the cannon fire from the enemy fighters.
That must have shaken you guys up
Yeah, that
quite a bit.
tends to rattle your chain.
Now, you were able to land safely?
Oh yeah, everybody got back in one piece.
Now, was that plane ever usable after that?
Oh yeah, they patched it up and away we went in a couple of days. That was old, we used to call it 775E for easy. E was the letter on the tail, vertical fin. And the 775 was the part of the serial number, which was the full house. 75775. 75. And that bottom picture was me in what do you call it? The primary training, Corsicana.
Oh, okay.
At the PT-19 behind there. That's where I washed out of pilot training.
Okay.
It's funny, I just had no feel for the airplane. And oh, 4 or 5 years ago, a friend of mine was a local pilot, and he took me for a ride out of Schenectady there, and turned the plane over to me, and the same thing. One of the maneuvers, find out whether you're able to fly the aircraft, is make a 360 degree turn, maintain your altitude, see. And I try to do that all over the sky. In pilot training, and then, what was it, 40, 45, 50 years later, taking a joyride around the Capital District area, same thing. I figured, well, I'll try the 365 degree turn and see how I just had no feel for it. So, hence I became a navigator.
Mm-hmm. Now, all your missions then were with the same crew, except you lost your radio operator, correct?
Well, my personal one, they decided there was another crew there that their navigator had been killed, so they used to send me in his place. And finally I got tired of that. I was 5 missions ahead of my regular crew, so I went up and asked, remember the operations officer's name was Cheney. He was a native of the state of Maine, and Alger Cheney. And I said, hey Al, let's not have any more of this having me fly with other people. So being a good guy, okay. So I finished up, 5 missions ahead of the rest of the crew, and I remember, boy, I sweated them out. Every day they went out, I was down at the airfield there where we parked the airplane, waiting to see them come in. And I remember that very clearly, the first, or their last day, their 35th mission. And then I was transferred to what we called a REPL depot, replacement depot, and reassigned to the 25th Bomb Group, which was the Mosquito outfit.
Now, why were you transferred and reassigned instead of being sent back home after 35?
I requested it.
You did, okay.
I was sitting up in the officers club after I'd done the 35, and I had the overseas edition of, looking through the overseas edition of Life magazine. That was a thinned down, most of the advertisements were eliminated. But they had a picture of the week or whatever it was, There was a picture of a B-29 with a wing coming off, on fire, going down over Tokyo. Right then and there, I made a career decision. Boy, I'm going to do what I have to do to stay out of there. So I rummaged around, and my old squadron commander, he knew this guy, Johnny Gray, that was squadron commander of this Mosquito outfit, and he was looking for pilots and navigators. So I let him know that, hey, I was available, let's go.
Now, were these American crews on these
These are
Mosquitoes?
all American
American crews.
But a lot of them had transferred over from the Royal Canadian Air Force, the RAF, the Eagle Squadron, and all that stuff. The fellow I flew with, he was a ex-Eagle Squadron man.
Now, how many on a crew of Mosquito?
2,
Two-man crew, okay.
pilot and a navigator.
Did you stay with the same pilot for your 16 missions?
Yes, I did.
Now, with the Mosquitoes, did they ever name those or decorate those at
Oh,
all?
some guys did, we didn't.
Okay.
That was a sad story. We kept after the, by now, of course, we had a different operations officer, Johnny Green. We kept on, pilot and I kept on Johnny Green. We wanted an aircraft assigned to us. So, Ozzy, my pilot, and his wife and I were on the train departing Watton. And we looked out and there was our brand new Mosquito sitting there. So we were going to come back in a couple of 3 days and check it out. When we got back, we found out that some clown had pranged it on the runway and smeared it all over the local geography, and that was the end of our aircraft.
Now you mentioned his wife was
Yeah,
with you. Did he marry an English
I
girl?
married an English girl. One of the most beautiful women I ever laid eyes on.
Now, what kind of missions did you fly in the Mosquitoes?
These were what we call light weather reconnaissance. We would go in ahead of the bombers and report the weather conditions, cloud height, amount of coverage, and all that sort of stuff, wind direction, velocity, and so on. And got a picture here of the Intrepid Birdman on the starboard engine of the Mosquito. I think the shooting had stopped when this was taken.
Okay.
So the PR people were running around, you know, making up some history.
Was your Mosquito ever shot up? Or-
No, they never laid a glove on us.
Now, which did you prefer, the B-17 or the Mosquito?
Oh, the Mosquito by 1,000%.
Why?
Well, first of all, prepare for a B-17 mission. Up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, go out and get a terrible breakfast on the run. Go down, prepare yourself, prepare the aircraft. About this time, you know, the sun has come up. Then everybody takes off and we grind around in the sky for a couple of hours, forming the bomber stream. And then everybody falls in line and away we go. And we do our thing and go hit the target and turn around and come back. And then of course there's a disassembly thing. And so we're looking at, you know, an 8 to 10 hour mission. So you go in a Mosquito. The very start, getting out of bed till you went to bed later on, was about a total of 4 hours, covering the same route, you know. That thing was fast. And of course we didn't have to bother with a whole bunch of other planes and whatnot. We just took off from the airfield and headed straight for Europe. And I think we had no armament on the aircraft, no armor. The only thing we depended upon was speed, and it was fast. We speed-wise, we indicated about 280 airspeed at 28-30,000 feet. You know, that's pretty well over 300 miles an hour. You know, corrected for altitude, temperature, and all that stuff. So we were going like a split thing. And there wasn't any German aircraft that could catch us. the only way they could get at us was to be above you and dive down behind you and rake you down with cannon fire.
Did you ever see any of the German jets?
No, I didn't personally see them, but a couple of the fellows did on other missions. And, there were pieces missing from the aircraft when I got back.
How did you compare your officers, fellow officers? What were they like to work with? Were there good relations within the unit?
Oh yeah, we had, wherever I was, we had good people. I got along fine with all of them and vice versa. And, good show all around.
Now, did you ever, when you're in the B-17, did you wear the flak jacket?
Oh, absolutely. We had a old infantryman's helmet, and we used to spread them. We'd take the liner out and we'd spread them. So the ground crew spread it so you could get it down over the earphones and the helmet. We put those on.
How about in the Mosquito? Did you ever wear
No.
anything?
No. I mean, you go up, you know, like we come out of the officers club and climb in the airplane and take off. It's the same thing, you know. Shirt, tie, trousers, some kind of a jacket, and cap, and that was it. You know? That's all we did, you know. Talking about getting it over with quick, that was the way.
Oh, you said you, now obviously in the 17s you never had night flights, but you did in the Mosquito?
Oh yeah. We used to have to go over there at night and before the bomber missions.
As a navigator, how was it different flying at night than during the daytime?
Basically the same. We had that British electronic navigation system known as the G system. And it was like Lorraine, only better. But short range, it was not long range like Lorraine. So we'd use that, and you could tell within a few hundred feet of your position all the time. Of course now I guess all they do is sit there in the B-52s and watch the numbers click by. Latitude and longitude and all that stuff.
Were there any people you flew with that you remember better than others, that you have better memories of?
Oh yeah, Ozzy, Julian Osborne was my Mosquito pilot. I guess he was the most memorable, and he and I became extremely good friends. And I used to run down, he was from the Washington D.C. area, and I used to run down there on weekends and spend the weekend with him and his family. His whole family lived down there.
Is he still living?
I don't know, I haven't heard from him since the mid-50s. He told me before we left, he said, you know, I never write any letters. He wasn't kidding.
Do you recall the death of President Roosevelt at all?
Oh yeah.
Your reaction to that?
Yeah. Not much, you know. So who's next?
Okay. How did you ever get to see any USO shows?
Oh yeah, a couple of them.
Do you remember who you saw? Or?
Well, I didn't see any of the pictures.
Oh, okay. What were your relationships like with the English people?
Excellent. Great people. They took great care of me.
Okay. You said here that you thought one of your greatest impressions was VJ Day?
Yeah, I think so.
Why was that?
Well, you know, it was all over.
How did you feel when you heard about the atomic bombs?
Well, wondering, you know, what the heck is it?
Okay. When did you end up coming back to the States?
Oh, it was sometime and just before Thanksgiving, and let's see, when was VJ Day? Was that 45? Was it?
45.
In August.
So it would have been kind of towards the end of October in 45.
Now, were you discharged at that time?
Yeah, when we got back, and I came back to Brooklyn, you know, as we steamed up the bay there, I could log out across the bay there and see where my home was. Right down to the window in the apartment it was. So we went down to Camp Kilmer, was it Kilmer? What was the other place down there in New Jersey?
Fort Dix?
Dix. I forget now whether it was Kilmer or Dix. I went out overseas from Kilmer. I got a feeling that was Dix.
There was Monmouth, Fort Monmouth, New Jersey too.
Yeah, I remember that. But anyway, that was the farewell to arms or something.
Did you ever make use of the GI Bill?
Oh yeah, I got finished off my college education on the GI Bill.
How about the 5220 Club?
Never joined it.
Never did.
No,
Okay.
never needed it.
Did you ever join any veterans organizations?
What I do now, I belong to the 25th Bomb Group Association.
8th Air Force Association at all? Do you-
No,
No?
I had some reports in it that didn't appeal to me. It was, remember how raucous the American Legion conventions used to be in New York, you know? They get up and tear the place apart. And it sounded pretty much like that, so I decided I didn't want any of that. And then 25th Bomb Group got in touch with me, and so I joined. And Joan and I have been going religiously to the conventions every year. We got one coming up now in Covington, Kentucky. Kentucky. The funny part about it was when I got a permanent job in GE, it was up the road about 30 miles in Pisgah, Ohio. Just the other side of Cincinnati. From Covington.
I can interrupt a minute. We have piles and piles of stories from the 25th Bomb Group. They would come, they would go to the hospitality room at night, and the guys would all share their stories, and we'd all sit and listen. They never shared them with their wives. And they're a terrific bunch of group, but they send out a booklet every month, and they have someone's given a story of what happened to them during the war. Fascinating, absolutely fascinating.
This was, the 25th Bomb Group was basically an elite outfit.
In what way?
With the exception of a couple of pilots and/or navigators. Everybody was a volunteer.
Okay.
They'd flown the full course on B-24s or B-17s, and then elected to, instead of going home, went up to the 25th Bomb Group and started off another set of missions.
Did you, I know you've kind of answered this already, did you ever stay in contact with anyone that was in service with you, even directly after the war?
No, just the fellows that we see now, that Joan and I see in the
Okay.
25th.
Okay. Could you tell me how you think your time in service had an effect or changed your life?
Yeah, I think I got smartened up. That was the only reason I graduated from Stevens. And that was a tough school, believe me. And remember the dean called me in one day before I went into service, and he he was a Princeton man, you know, Mitty Princetonian. And he looks at me, he says, Bob, he said, I think you should resign from the Institute before you get splinters in your ass sliding out the front door. And I'll never forget that. And, okay, Dean, you know, and then I figured, geez, I'm going to tell my family now, because I guess by this time I'd already, you know, enlisted in the Air Force, the enlisted reserve, they called it in those days.
Now you have some photographs that we haven't seen yet. I think there were some there.
Oh, yeah, that one in uniform. You can hold that one up.
Yeah, let me see, let me put my glasses on.
There should be a couple there with you with an airplane. We have more stuff in there that I can't, I'll have to get out someday. Pictures of when his father had his review the troops.
You might have dropped them on the floor. I thought I saw something fall at some point.
Wait, I don't see them. Don't move your feet.
Crunch.
Let me just stop on.
Now if you
Okay.
just kind of hold it up like this,
Yeah,
Mr.
just-
Taylor, and okay, after you finish reading it.
Oh yeah, it's my name on it, and it says around 1942, 44, should be 45, World War II.
Okay, great. Okay,
All right, thank
Got
you. Any others that we haven't seen yet?
Well, here's my sainted father when he was a
Oh,
much younger man.
Is
okay,
this your knife, Bob, or your father's?
okay.
Oh, that's my father's.
Boy, you kept everything.
This is his father's
Here.
hat from World War.
Oh yeah, there's the old,
This is Dad's
Oh.
grandpa's hat.
yeah, this is,
Your old
got this from
flying helmet.
the British. And, well, we were, part of the checkout was this Englishman would come in, and he'd sit you down, and he was the guy that made the helmets. And he'd measure, you know, every bone in your skull and everything, and I want to tell you,
I think it was
when
a
you
Bob
got
or
it, it
something.
fit like a
That's
glove.
Bob.
Now it's, you know, over the years it's shrunk. I don't think I could even get it on anymore. And I had one of my sons was a great disassembler, so my oxygen mask and,
The one Bill took?
Now,
yeah.
your wife said that's you?
I forgot we had that.
Yeah, that's me.
Look at this. Here.
You want to hold that up in front of you?
Maps.
This is kind of a funny story.
If you can hold that back towards you more, otherwise I can't focus in on it.
God. You guys didn't throw anything away.
Okay, you want to tell us about that? How that came about?
I want kids because I saved them.
Yeah, when I got back to school, I had a good friend lived up the block from me, Carol Hughes, and she worked for Art outfit over in New York, and being an art outfit, it wasn't exactly what it sounds like. They had a bunch of artists there that did illustrations for magazines in those days, like Cosmopolitan and the Woman's Home Companion, and all that stuff. So they got a contract to make these signs that used to hang out on the sidewalk, you know, about this big, for the recruiting places. And when she saw a job that I could fit as the models, she'd give me a call and I'd go over. And generally what they did was take a picture of me and then put me in some kind of a background. So this is the one of the posters I did. You can see there's the old leather jacket and the helmet. Yeah, you can see the goggles.
Bob,
Okay, All right, got it.
Is this your father's or yours?
It's mine.
I was just showing them, do you see all these maps now? We're gonna give you some of those, but now the kids are saying, well, why don't we just loan them?
Well, we got a lot of noise from them.
Yeah, they, I don't know what they're gonna do with them, but see all those maps? I mean, I don't know what you do with them, what you wanna...
My God, look at that.
You guys...
Must be every map you ever had. Look at that.
That's amazing. I've never seen a
No.
kit that complete.
What do you see as father's maps about World War I?
Are these all mine and none of my father's in there?
I thought they looked like they're all World War
They're all
II.
yours. Your fathers are over here.
Oh, okay. Remember I told you about the G navigation system? These are the maps we use with the G.
See
You
these
use
maps?
the electronic instruments, the G set as we call it. To manipulate that and you come up with these numbers. And where they cross, that's where you were. Ma, come on, this joint is going to fall apart.
They're too heavy, I can't lift them.
Well, you should have asked me. I'll help you out. Just
These are, I don't want to, these are World War I maps. France.
now this is a an Air Force European fold-out map.
Yeah, that's use that on the mosquito. We got these from the RAF.
Okay.
It's put together in such a fashion that you can open it up to where you want to open it without, you know, having to spread it all over creation. Cockpits weren't that big in those days.
Okay.
You can't get them by, I think they shellacked them, and they've all stuck together. No, that's not so bad.
I think it was a spot. See, that was a spot, or was that this?
I think that's a World War I.
I think that's World War II.
Is it?
I think so.
Bob, is that your name?
Oh, that's my father.
Oh,
I don't see it.
is
I
it
think this
dated?
is like a 1919. There is a date, but it's on. Well, I guess that's probably it. Okay, well, thank you very much for
Okay.
your interview.
Well, gee, I hope it some help to you.
Oh my God, it was excellent.
Hey, you folks got the tape that
Oh, yeah.
the Confederate Air Force did of me, didn't you?
Do they have the
Or
tape?
did you?
Someone,
Oh.
I gave the tape to someone. We don't have a copy of that. We gotta get